Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. It's time for a hodgepodge video where we're going to fit a bunch of different stuff in, changelogs, events, and also how to complete a battle pass mission. So the first thing is the event. The Finnish Air Force Day is upon us. This one is pretty cool. It says the Finnish Air Force was founded on the 6th of March 1918, soon after the country declared its independence from the Russian Empire. Its first planes were simply left behind by Russian forces, but the Finns didn't have their own pilots, so in the beginning they had to rely on unofficial help from Swedes, Danes and Russians. The Finnish Air Force was rather successful in fighting off Soviet aircraft during the Winter War, and in the Second World War refrained from bombing civilian targets. After the peace treaty with the USSR was signed, Finnish pilots kept fighting in the skies against their past allies from the Luftwaffe. And today, the Finnish Air Force consists of several dozen of the American FA-18 Hornet, which basically means that Sweden one day in War Thunder will have access to it. Now, in order to celebrate this event, they're not doing a sale of anything, it seems. So it looks like all of the general vehicles that are usually available for Finland are going to be available for Finland. But what they are doing is they're bringing in a decal, the emblem of the Karelia Air Command. Now all you got to do with this one is play 3 battles using Swedish aircraft from rank 3 or higher, and you can get this one. So you don't need wins or anything like that, and it's always nice to collect these things. It's one of those ideas that I've talked about many times. It's good to focus on different parts of the game instead of the grind, so therefore you do the grind kind of automatically while doing everything else. It makes more sense to me, it works better, and generally you'll have a better time doing it. The next part is we have some changelogs, the first one being update 2.23.1.55, and this one fixed a bug where HE shells in some aircraft and anti-aircraft guns cause little damage. This has been fixed. I've got to say, I'm not entirely sure if it's fully fixed yet, because of the fact that I've run into a lot of situations while playing specific vehicles where my rounds ain't doing much still. That might just be penetration issues, especially since I was using stuff like 7.7s from the British, but it did feel like I was still doing less damage than usual to specific components, so we'll have to see if there's an update on this going forward. The main one that seemed to be affected is stuff like 30mm Defers and Aidens and things like that, and they were just doing absolutely no damage, so luckily that has been fixed. Then also it says in the Steam version on a CPU without SSE 4.1 support, but with a 64-bit operating system, the game will use all available RAM. Previously it was limited to about 4GB, so the game should run a lot better now on the Steam version. It also says on update 2.23.1.51 on the CPU without SSE 4.1 support, but with 64-bit operating system, the game will use all available RAM. Previously it was limited to approximately 4GB. So once again, hopefully it will run better for a decent amount of people. We'll have to see. Usually when they do these changes, it runs smoother for some, but unfortunately worse for others. Also recently the Air Guard task for the season challenges for the Battle Pass came out, and this basically you have to destroy a specified number of player air vehicles while using a fighter. You need to destroy 10 fighters, 10 bombers, and 10 strike aircraft. And I was thinking, how the hell am I going to do this? Because I played a bunch of matches in Realistic doing one of the Page of History events with the A6, and I killed a bunch of fighters, but I didn't really see any bombers or strike aircraft. And then while the Page of History event for the Spitfires was going on, I was like, well, why don't I just play arcade? Because in arcade, you can see what everybody's in. It's quite nicely color coordinated between fighters, strike aircraft, and bombers, and it's much easier to kind of pick your targets in arcade. And since in arcade, a lot of bombers and strike aircraft go after the air-ground vehicles, you can kind of line up where they're all going. And within 3, 4, or 5 matches, I had got the Air Guard completed and killed all of the bombers and strike aircraft I needed. Now, obviously you can do this in other game modes, it's just going to take a lot longer time, and I feel like doing it in Air Arcade is probably a much better and easier way to do it. You just have to make sure to hit tab every once in a while to have a look at the scoreboard, see what other people are flying, and then try and target them. And I know that kind of sucks, you know, generally you don't want to do that, because it can be a negative gameplay experience for others, but at the same time, if you do this event, or if you do this challenge as quick as possible, then you don't have to worry about it later on. So I'd definitely say it's worth doing like that. Definitely fun and enjoyable to get it done, so you don't have to worry about it later on. Now, when it comes to the seasonal challenges, there's only one which is going to be harder to do, and that's obviously Spear and Hammer. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Millie Draper, Juan the Panda, Nick R. Kupila, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Merciless Reaper, Orange Tail, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Moxie B. Young, Peter Grayling, Jerry Provolt, Bareen, Alan Hacker, Sem Arslan, Uncle Bean, Derek R., and Lafouche for supporting the channel.